the Australian public have been waiting a long time for this event, so hopefully you guys online have been as well, and hopefully we'll get some good games to kick things off, of course, as we do start it off with FaZe and paiN, and it will be FaZe to start on the T side here of Anubis.
We'll see if the pistol can have any good weight on it for paiN on this CT side as well, as they are potentially going to have an early duel in mid.
Yeah, well, overall, start has been as expected. Elige with a nice couple of entries. Brokey gets one, but then, of course, there's a nice little trade back as the contest comes through over bridge and from E-Box, and it is actually going to be paiN that will win the round. And
maybe see some more normalcy return to this one, but an opportunity for paiN nonetheless to start out with a good lead on their own map pick.
Well, pretty standard stuff on this anti-eco for paiN, or at least that's the attempt, really. Do have one kill already coming through from Rain with the Deagle. Everyone has invested in one for FaZe, so there will be some degree of fear factor for paiN in this round. Davideus down relatively low. And looks like FaZe are just going to decide to group their way up. I mean, this is going to have to be a contact play. They have absolutely no util at all. But with only one player on this bomb site, that being Demo, maybe they can knock him over and find themselves a plant, get something underway on this T side. Or perhaps not. A couple of nice kills in there from Demo. He'll actually pick up all four. Very well done on the anti-eco. And that's exactly how you'd want things to start if you're paiN. You get the pistol round on the CT side, which is not necessarily always standard. It really depends on what team you are, how you want to sort of play that CT side. But definitely in the case of paiN, they've elected to sort of weaken their mid hold to strengthen their A hold. So perhaps anticipating something early on from FaZe over there. But as they swing their way back into middle to retake that space, they are just kind of booking FaZe, honestly. I mean, at the moment in the server, it looks like paiN is the team that we should have said were the favorites, and FaZe were the ones coming in with a stand-in and a new player, but it's not the case. I mean, this is a role reversal for sure, but I'm very impressed by what we're seeing from paiN so far on this CT side.
I'll see if Rain can get something back with Frozen here, though looking to be looked after. And now it's just for Frozen, who would need all 5 kills in this round. But with 15 seconds to go, that's just unachievable. Well done for paiN. Pushing through the doors. Now they've got options.
Yeah, most definitely. And it might be a pivot back over toward B. If Snow goes down here, that's going to be really bad news, and it's very difficult in that circumstance to really do anything beyond even get one, which he's not able to do. That leaves NQZ, who is low, to try to solo anchor B. He'll hold down that spray, anticipating an extra push, and won't quite get it. So ultimately, FaZe pick their battles really nicely in this round and go straight into B, get that plant down, and leave Demo alone to try to clutch now for paiN, which again, is wishful thinking in the 1v4. So this dream start for paiN somewhat ends around earlier than it ought to have. They could have been up to 5-0 in this CT side.
With this forward angle, the AWP's trying to see who can gain some advantage, and this time it's actually going to be NQZ instead of Brokey, who opened things up in the last one.
Elige going to join the rest of the forces over toward B here. And once again, just sort of see if they can bust their way into B. It's been fairly successful so far. Issue is, they don't really have a whole lot of util to get in. They've got one smoke, so it's going to actually probably just have to end up being a contact play, which works out perfectly. paiN falling asleep at the wheel on the B bomb site. Snow and then Ricks getting their heads banged off. And once again, that's the B site taken. You almost at this point have to start thinking, well, paiN are going to need to put some more forces over toward B, because if that's where FaZe are going to go consistently and that's where they're going to have success consistently, you can't be letting them win around like that. It's pretty nice conditioning, because actually they've pulled an extra rotator over to B. There's now 3 players on B, no one in mid, and 2 on A, as opposed to sort of this 2-1-2 or the 2-3 that we had earlier on. So this is, again, the more weak bomb site that FaZe are going to be heading into, and well, it hasn't worked out too well for them. Counter flashes look pretty good there. NQZ getting himself a double, and Brokey only now finding himself the trade. This has not worked out for FaZe. The A hold remains strong, even if B is struggling.
And now as Brokey, what are you going to be able to do to bring something back here? 40 seconds, there's time, you've got the bomb, bit of util. But nothing on the back of that, unfortunately. So that is a pretty good hold from paiN at the A site. The AWP as well, right? Repositioning when mollied out. But will it happen? Caught with util out as Brokey, and Rain still not able to make his way out through main. He's been held off by these smokes time and time again. So you feel like paiN a good grasp on where this round is going to end.
Most definitely. NQZ missing that shot. Tavadeus coming around the back here. That'll probably be the killing blow for FaZe in this round. If they might have had a timing there out of A main, there might have been a chance, but not looking too likely now with Frozen going 1 for 1 there. I mean, I guess that's good in and of itself for him, but it's definitely not good enough to win this round. And paiN are now up to 6, and man, FaZe are looking really rocky on the T side of Anubis right now. This is... And if there's no pressure on them in terms of expectations at this event, and also no pressure in the server, that's where this actually can start to come together for paiN. The nade into the smoke, it's going to reveal Carrigan. Ends up just being a 1 for 1, which is maybe not as good as paiN would have liked. Rain still fighting for that space at E-box. Brokey now going to set himself up on that bridge line as well. FaZe are just waiting for a pick in this round, and they're not getting it. Not in the way that they want to.
You know, no HEs, no mollies to really push them, and with 30 seconds to go, I mean, there's an opportunity for paiN to find 7.
It's looking a little bit slimmer though, as that first player goes down on B, and then Tavadeus will fall as well. Brokey just able to set himself up on the line, and that again is a nice B take for FaZe. So as far as I can see so far, they have a 100% win rate when they are going B with force, and anywhere else is a 0% win rate. At least on the gun rounds. Obviously, the pistol round notwithstanding. But since, you know, those gun rounds have started to come through, FaZe have actually looked really good on these B takes. And and FaZe, again, default setup into what looks to be a B take. Carrigan taking space in E-box here. This should be very expected. It's feeling a little bit telegraphed in a sense from FaZe, but maybe they don't mind that. They don't hit their shots, though, and that'll be a problem. 3 duels won by paiN on the B bomb side, and that will be a huge difference maker, as they are certainly closing in on their 7th round now.
Rix has just machoed himself in towards that duel and won that one. That's kind of handsome to come out there. And for Rain and Elige, I mean, you saw Elige get damaged up through some smoke spam earlier on, and Rain again just not able to find anything in through A main. 40 seconds to go. And with that kill going Snow's way, I mean, it feels like the round may be done unless Elige just comes out with something miraculous.
Not impossible for a player like Elige, but a nice shot in from Rix. Beaten by a coach. Now that one, bullet straight to the head from the AWP. Rix is 5 and 5. He's definitely upholding his end of the bargain. Like, mate, we'll find out whether or not they can close out an 8th round here. If they could get an 8-4 half on the CT side of Anubis, I might even say they can win the map.
Maybe. But this is FaZe.
That's not how you're going to get 8.
No.
Well, running their way on into that B-bomb side, and trading down nicely is FaZe. Frozen and Rain to try to clutch it out against Demo. I mean, to be fair, he is 8 and 1, so let's not count them out of this conversation just yet. He's got a bit of space. He's got some util, a molly for B main, but he'll be spotted in the side. Oh my god, the flick. And Frozen goes down. Now Demo expecting that last player out by main, which he will be proven correct in that assumption, though the peak has to still come through from Rain. He knows he's now on the left side, trying desperately to draw it out. Flash around the corner, and doesn't look like Demo's going to be winning it now. He'll chase Rain down, but does he have time for the defuse? I don't think so. He's going to sit it anyway. And... oh, he's just got it 8-4. Unbelievable. The first half, a super solid one from paiN, and they'll get themselves a massive half to kick things off here, to take the scenic route to B.
Yeah. I mean, they took a trip to Australia. You may as well take another trip on the server itself, right?
Yeah, seems that way. And Brokey will be the first one to really take any kind of contact as he just tries to tap away. You got Rain with that USP out by main as well, and he's hit himself a nice headshot, but it will not be enough to stop paiN from filtering their way onto the site. They get a safe plant for Temple. They've got plat control. Everyone's just trying to tuck, but Frozen working his way in as well from E-box. This starts to become problematic. paiN needs some kills and they need them fast. Rix will deliver with 1, but we need more than that. Demo fighting desperately alone here on plat. He'll fall, and Rix can't get anything done either. So FaZe will win the pistol in the second half, which does give them a bit of an avenue back into this game.
For Brokey. Oh, nearly find the opener, but he still will get it.
Yeah, and QC just sort of sliding onto that line after the info was given. It definitely looked like FaZe wanted to contest over bridge. You had a couple of players that were sort of working in that direction, but the second Brokey goes down, it's a different story.
Frozen to do here with Carrigan.
Carrigan dancing around on plat. Won't get too much done. Davideus taking him down. It's a nice fast flank, though, from Elige, and he could get a lot done. As Brokey also chimes in with a couple. That is a super solid hold. Great reaction from FaZe. Very, very fast rotation in, and paiN were not expecting it that quick. What should have happened given that first half. So very, very important gun round coming out here. Demo going to start it nicely. Good spray control. Catches up with Elige. Needs a nade for his troubles, and Frozen waiting to see if he's going to push through that smoke.
He's got trade available from teammates to also, you know, pick up the slack. This time, he doesn't have that. And he's already gone.
Yeah, honestly, it's not the end of the world for FaZe if they just have these three players over towards A and keep all of those guns alive. Rain? I'm not sure about this one. They're going to go have a little bit of a look into canals. You know, obviously this is still FaZe with the lead at the moment, but there's a potential chance this ends up being a very, very long and sort of arduous half. So better off FaZe just holding onto these guns. They wanted to take some space, I guess, to get towards T-spawn. See if maybe they can find an exit or two. I'm not sure that they're necessarily expecting paiN to be right here. So Rain with a bit of work to do. He's going to fall, and his AK now on the floor. And the hold for Frozen and Brokey gets a little bit more tenuous as T-spawn kind of opens up for paiN now as well. Davideus is having a look in there, but ultimately, two guns will remain. Yes, not a bad initial setup here for paiN if they do want to hit the B bomb site, but lurking out on a timing, Davideus is going to give up his life. Now, a couple of the CT positions found out. Frozen will change it up a little bit and start to dump util. Almost a decent opening, a decent timing actually for paiN, but they didn't have the backup. They weren't able to trade down, and now it's falling apart. Elige has also won himself a duel onto Rix in middle, and that's the bomb dropped. That is a really, really bad timing for paiN to be dropping the bomb. There's no one there that can go and collect it easily. It's going to force a really big rotate out of NQZ, and now you're down 3 on 5. Where are you going to go?
You've just got to hit something big here as paiN. You don't have a lot of utility. Yeah,
oh, that's
blind shot, sure. That could be huge. 30 seconds, though, as the bomb is retrieved. Demo would almost have to switch towards a lurking scenario if paiN wanted to go to the A side, but they're going to opt to go still to the more stacked side.
It's so late, though. It is so late with 15 seconds on the clock here. How are you realistically going to get in? You got Frozen waiting for you. He's got Carrigan there to back him up as well. That first contact actually taken by Carrigan,
wow.
And Frozen will fall as well. And paiN have gotten in there at the 11th hour, and they will get themselves a bomb plant. Now it's a 2v3 for the retake, if FaZe were even interested in going for it. But with no util and a player deficit, surely this is not going to be the play for FaZe.
We'll have to see. Smoke eventually will fade.
That was the question mark there. If Rain could have got that kill, maybe they would have thought about it. The fact that he can't, well, Brokey just saved the AWP. You've still got quite a bit of cash here to play with for FaZe. Everyone will get a little bit of a boost as the round does end, and FaZe will definitely afford to buy into the next round, but this is a super tight battle at the moment. Well, actually, at the A bomb site, so this is really all on Elige. He's got to spot this info. He's got to get this smoke down immediately. And then the B players are going to have to react as well, but it does look like it's going to be an A hit. He's going to take the fight instead. Elige just going Chad mode. He ends up getting only a 1-for-1, but Brokey picking up that line will definitely help out the A hold. There's 3 players here, which might not be expected by paiN, and indeed, Rain will swing on the timing. Brokey's hitting everything, and FaZe will win the round.
You think that might be a little bit risky for Elige instead of using the util there to stave them off, play for the time. You've got a rotation happening, but
again, great anchoring work from Rain, peeking off of the timing, and gives FaZe another bit of a look in at this game, but still teetering very much on the precipice as Carrigan is trying to hold on to E-Box. It's going to be a nice quick peek in there from Davideus. Always a tough fight there for Carrigan. He'll lose it, but Frozen is locking it down. He's found himself a triple, and again, Brokey on the right side of the map when it's required is going to give that 12th round to FaZe. And FaZe are 1 round away from closing out map 1. So you'd be looking at a 2-0 right there. So if you want to be competitive in this series, paiN, you probably have to force it through to this OT. And to start things off, Elige is going to get aggressive up over bridge. FaZe have tried to change it up and hasn't necessarily worked out from the outset. Carrigan and Brokey, though, winning their individual duels, will pull it right back in the favor of FaZe, and paiN staring down the barrel of defeat now for map number 1.
And Rain's sort of taking some space towards the A side as well if needed, so you could potentially get some further information that no one's going to be rotating back over towards that side. We'll opt better of it. These are the sort of scenarios where if FaZe do make a misstep, however, you could give paiN a way back in. There's a lot of time on the clock to still play with.
QZ looking for those entries, rifling, only going to get himself a 1-for-1, and that is simply not enough. Frozen has been a fantastic B hold for FaZe and does enough this time to make it look like a winnable round, but 1v1, bomb plant going down here for Snow. To try to deal with is Rain as he works his way in through E-Box, just picking that pace up, of course, gives away his position, and it now just comes down to this one final duel, and Rain absolutely smacks him away. Confident round out from Rain as well. You could see he just backed himself in that duel, and of course he has won it. So 13-11 on map 1 for FaZe. It was a shaky game.
The last time these guys did play it, it was FaZe on the T side as well to start off, and they were successful in finding the pistol, so definitely looking to charge and find another one here.
That's not a bad start at all from Snow. Gets himself a 1-for-1. And Rick's going to hold on to carpets. So this does make for a very retakeable site for paiN. I'm not sure if Snow had himself a defuse kit there, which would certainly help. But now Rick's losing out on that duel is going to be a really big problem, because post plant from carpets is a really strong spot for FaZe to be playing. They're going to set themselves up on the bomb site. Davideus will find Brokey. Frozen now having to look for a couple back in response. He'll get one, Elige another, and that leaves NQZ solo. So pretty tough ask for him, as again, that carpets position is just so powerful. FaZe will win the pistol to start off map 2.
For everyone watching, the Aussie term for short. A short.
Diggity! Everyone spam diggity in the chat if you're absolutely based. Anyone that doesn't is just un-Australian, really. Yeah. Anyway, we've got 5 MP9s here for paiN, so they're just going to go swinging from dig, and it hasn't quite worked out. That's actually quite a good response from FaZe. There was a team kill in the mix there, but NQZ shouldn't be able to hold on to things here solo, and eventually does get run down by Brokey. I mean, it's definitely a winnable round, though, for Snow, with Brokey being so low, and all he has to do is catch a nice timing under Frozen. It could work for sure.
Yeah, Frozen, though, tucking himself. There's some semblance of a crossfire here.
Tough ask for Snow. Swing's going to come through for Pit, and Frozen set up very nicely. And so that'll be a second for FaZe. Although it's a fairly costly one, there was the investment, of course, from paiN, so it'll be all good for FaZe. They'll have the opportunity to farm that cash back up in this round.
Yeah, there was definitely an opportunity, though, you got to say, for Snow to be able to find that right. I feel like the smoke that's thrown to dig a little bit at the later side of things did make it a little bit more difficult. You start to ask the question as well, right? What does that first gun round look like?
Ooh,
okay.
That's a sharp shot. And another one out from Rick. So this round starts to maybe fall apart a little bit for FaZe, though they have seen a bit of a stack over towards B. Brokey not too scared of that. Demo will pick the pace up. Now it's onto Carrigan to try to bring this one back, and he'll have to be clean with these shots. Inevitably, numbers are starting to thin out for paiN, which is where this starts to become winnable for FaZe. And Elige tasked with those entry duties. There's a push in through the smoke on the timing as well. Carrigan just going to plant super safe behind first oranges and hope that Elige can cover off, which looks to have occurred. Any guns here for paiN to pick up? A Mac 10 and a Deagle to work with. probably doesn't fill you with a whole lot of confidence considering they're at about half HP. Elige going to be facing. He chops a Bink and Carrigan doubled up at new box. It's just hoping that Elige can get this one done. But if not, he's going to try and hide and get it done himself. And he'll get that first kill nicely on to Snow. Davideus low. Then a jiggle peek in there from Carrigan. Gets the job done. He will win the round for FaZe. But it is a little too close for comfort at the moment.
In fact, smoke has just been refreshed there on the timing to keep FaZe at bay when they drop their own wrap smokes.
Demo, 1 for 1. Not really going to be enough to lock in this A bomb side. It leaves Davideus with a bit too much to do. Hard to double down from this kind of a position if FaZe play it well. And ooh, the peaks are coming through kind of one by one, but Rain will lock it in from that balcony position. Just set up like a turret, and so that's all good. All's well that ends well. Brokey set up on the library line. Perfect position to hold off for this retake, and Rix just comes swinging across, loses his life. Brokey for another one, and that is round 4 done and dusted. Snow is not interested. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where if you're an underdog, you have a close map, you make it look interesting, and then you get rolled on the second map. That happens so often. Someone like a FaZe would kind of just warm up and start to feel that pressure release. Quick over towards the B side of the map here as Snow will try to pick the pace up there himself. FaZe opting to go fast at B as they lost the duel over in middle. Rain actually falling there as well, so they do need to make this B take work. What's going on there? Brokey's just jumped out onto the side. I don't think he was holding onto a gun. I don't even know what was going on there. But in the end, they're into B. They do have the 2-on-3 post plant, but half HP for Carrigan, and paiN looking to come through on that retake will be assisted by that shot from NQZ. Now it's just Carrigan, and he's going to have to go carry again, and that will not happen. A 1v3, too much to ask. Defuse is on.
An opportunity for paiN to start to find a couple of good CT rounds. As we get some early damage onto Davideus in the boiler, but the AWP of NQZ misses its mark, and Rain will polish off Davideus, so gets an upgrade for himself in the gun department, and FaZe can sit pretty for a little bit of time.
Rotation coming through for A. It's going to be a full commitment from paiN to try to just hold on to this A bomb site. But FaZe already have so much space, and creeping on a line like that for Demo is just not going to be enough. Snow will catch Carrigan as he tries to get up to some trickery, but last player standing on this A bomb site is going to be NQZ, and he was last spotted towards carpets, so paiN will be quite aware of that position as they get this bomb plant down. Smoke obscuring the vision in carps for now. But, I mean, realistically, this has to be a save again from paiN, and this is the problem with Inferno, is that, you know, even if you have numbers on a site, it can become so easily overwhelmed.
Might be the name of the game here, but you'll just see the standard deeper banana smoke come out and some little early utilities there. I wouldn't mind seeing Rix and Snow hang around, but they're already kind of getting pushed off the line. Disregard what's happening over there with NQZ finding an opener.
Rix doing his best to try to hold on to Banana, and it's not going to work out. B-site has now been taken. Smoking for CT spawn will allow the transition into the site for FaZe, but they don't actually have the bomb in tow.
Yeah, you'd hope so, right? There's a lot of utility for these paiN guys to go in for a proper retake here. You've got an AWP for NQZ that can still hold, you know, something like the new box line too, right? So you would kind of expect that paiN have the right equipment here.
Yep. Great nade, though, onto the head of David. That was a real toss from Rain. He's been practicing his cricket in the lead up to IEM Melbourne. Might go to the MCG later on, but he's going to have his feet sizzled. Still does really well to get himself 1 kill onto Demo. And despite all of this util that paiN have got, they are just getting so unlucky on this retake. And he won't have the time. I mean, Rain burning alive gets a kill. And then through the smoke, another kill comes through for Frozen. What are you going to do? Unfortunately, that round just doesn't play out for paiN. And it's going to be a 6-1 lead now for FaZe.
Potentially not, but we'll maybe give them a bit of a silver lining later. They've got banana control to a degree, a lot of utility exchange, NQZ now on the line, but this is an important one for Davideus and for Rix. It's just the one-to-one trade.
It's a very nice trade from Elige, though. If he goes down there as well, that round might just fall apart for FaZe, but now They've still got a fighting chance, and Rain's also caught himself a nice little timing here into Arch. Snow on the wrap. He's kind of looking for him. Rain is going to be spotted out in the end, so that's really heads up from Snow. Doesn't spot anything, looks around behind him in towards CT spawn, and here is now where FaZe just have to go for a bona fide take on the A site. They've just got to get the battering ram out and try and break down the door. Brokey has put a little hole in the door, but there needs to be a bit of a bigger one, and FaZe, in the end, actually decide that they want to go elsewhere, or they at least want to slow things down, but it's very awkward here. With 30 seconds left on the clock, they're going to try and give some time to Frozen to activate through Arch side. But he's going to have to wrap in around onto A. Elige as well, having a look from Carpets. 20 seconds left on the clock. FaZe really running down that timer as Brokey now starts to walk his way up through Diggity. But as of yet, not finding themselves a fight. Demo will win himself a couple, and Brokey has surely timed himself out of this round. Can't win that final fight. Demo, great anchor work in that pit position, and paiN will get themselves a second.
Definitely want some close quarters combat to a degree for Brokey and for Carrigan.
Nice work from Demo for the first kill, but unfortunately gets smashed back through the smoke by Rain, and Carrigan's also taken the head off of Rix. Davideus is desperately trying to hold on to this A bomb site. He's got no assistance, he's got no util to delay, and he'll just have to try and escape with his life for now to set up for that retake. It'll give FaZe the site, it will give them the plant. It's a very safe plant from Frozen, but if they could somehow maybe take Carpet's control going for this, I don't know if they are. I don't think they're going for this.
No, it doesn't look like it. Hey, the smoke over at Moto is just refreshed and is really keeping paiN at bay from Snow to be able to even get in for any retake. So that kind of just stops paiN's advances in its entirety.
Wow. I mean, you would have thought being down 6-2 or now 7-2, they're going to have to start going for some of those kinds of retakes.
Yeah. Otherwise, you need a hero moment at the very beginning of a round, potentially, and missing an AWP shot like that is not going to be the one. That's a team kill to come through from Elige. That's a bit awkward. Rain didn't deserve that, but an opportunity for paiN that they can start to capitalize on nonetheless. Player advantage. An option to further that as well, with a wrap eventually coming on to Brokey, but he'll get traded out, and now it's on to Frozen and Carrigan to see what they can do with a minute left.
Yeah, but here's the difficulty again with Inferno is that it's a 2-on-3, sure, but look at how isolated the defense is. I mean, you got a guy in C2 who's kind of watching for the Arch push. You got a guy on B and a guy on A. So it's essentially 3 2v1s, actually. Maybe a fast rotate in from Rix here from CT Spawn if there's early info, for example, if Demo hears them coming in Carpets or who knows what. But if this is just a contact play out Carpets, and they get a 1-for-0 onto Demo, all of a sudden this is a 2v2 post plant, and that's very losable. Nice jump in from Carrigan. Frozen not quite quickly enough there to actually get that kill to save him. Demo falling down, getting the kill, but Frozen now a 1-on-2, and very winnable, especially if he picks his timing here. He's going to push his way forward. Oh, I thought he was going to take that Brackus fight against Rix, and that would have been perfect, isolating that solo duel. But he's just going to tuck himself into the backside and play the time.
Yeah, Bomb's not really
has util.
Remember.
Maybe that's what he's gambling on. That they're not going to check this position. Just pops his head up here and there. First head goes off. It's Rix to fall, but Snow will find the trade, and paiN do get themselves a shaky round, but to put behind it. So Carpets has been cleared out by Rain. This is really relying on Brokey's AK to do something really special, because there's a whole lot of nothing behind this buy for FaZe. They do get themselves a kill courtesy of Carrigan, or even a couple of them. As Demo will go down now as well, and they are going to get a bomb plant, which will significantly assist in the buy next round, but it might give them a bit of a chance in here in the 2v3 as well.
Now we'll have to see what they're going to be able to do, specifically maybe Rain to pull away with one and then put more on a Carrigan.
Rain can get himself a gun here, and Carrigan can get one. Then it is round on for sure. Carrigan's been spotted on that cross, but paiN are definitely taking their time on this entry, and a push through the smoke. It could go very wrong with two players looking at it. Rain and Carrigan will clutch out a very cheeky round for FaZe, and that might just be paiN doomed for this series now. Not a whole lot of map territory taken for FaZe early on in the round. Just respecting that banana take from paiN. And a Liege spotted out by NQZ. The fight in middle doesn't go well for Carrigan either. But Rain is still hanging around in Boiler, and he could really be a big difference maker if he picks his timing nicely.
Yeah, finally FaZe recognizing that there is a B side again on this map, though. Looking to potentially pivot over towards it, and it will draw a rotate from Demo. Give an option potentially for Rain to try and find some good timing as well, but will he be able to best NQZ, who is already on the AWP line? A flash from Brokey goes out, and actually nets them the great kill, so that's a good little switch. And now Davideus, if he falls, I mean, that's the A site.
He won't really be checked very well by Rain there, and actually ends up cleaning up a couple before he goes down. Brokey, too close for comfort. Are these CTs? He's surely going to get overwhelmed and eventually does fall. So 8-4 at the end of the first half. But we'll see if maybe paiN can cause a bit of a ruckus on this T side. Their T side was very rough, though, on Anubis. And so I doubt that we're going to be seeing anything too fantastic, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, as Davideus will pick up Rain.
Look at the rotate that's immediately thrown to FaZe, though. 3 players towards this B site now, and they are correct in assuming to do this.
Brokey looking for a couple of taps, not finding them. Frozen got himself one there, and the Liege is going to come into play as they charge their way back down. Banana, he's out of there. He doesn't want a banana smoothie at all. Oh, bit of an awkward jump there. He's missed the jump, but it doesn't matter. He's hit the head. How about that? 1 for 1, 2 for 1 in the end, actually, overall for a Liege, as they tried it to exit banana. And this round gets a bit more awkward, a bit more difficult for paiN as a result.
Yeah, Frozen and Carrigan. See if they can put themselves in a winning situation, with Carrigan slipping into the pit as well. They can't flush him out. They would make noise dropping down onto his location.
Can't hit the shots, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. So it's on to Frozen, who will try to pick the pace up as that bomb plant's going down, trying to isolate a quick 1v1. It's what you should be doing, but now that he hasn't got that initial pick, it is going to be a 2-on-1, and it is going to be cleaned up nicely. paiN will win the pistol in the second half. NQZ taking some nice space through carpets, and that's going to work out perfectly. Catches Rain. Cheeky little timing from him there. So FaZe on this CT side, finding it a little bit difficult to get the ball rolling, but Brokey is waiting for this exact push, and he'll miss the shot. He's really not happy with himself there. You could see it in the player cam. That's just such a routine shot, and that is going to be the round lost as a result. I mean, Carrigan can only do so much on that side alone. So Brokey knows as soon as he's missed that shot that that's pretty much the round done and dusted, and FaZe going to allow paiN up to 8.
Yeah, that is a real rough one for Brokey. Right at the back of that cubby-way as well, just not able to escape, and uncharacteristically, in fact, missing some shots.
Well, yeah, you say that, but it's been a bit up and down for Mr. Brokey lately. But also, what I'm interested in seeing here is if paiN can actually break the CT economy now, because money's going to be in that wishy-washy period here for FaZe if they don't win this next round. We'll have to see where their buy ends up going here, but I'm assuming they're going to buy into this round. And
with a minute still on that timer, paiN, this is the sort of time where they hope to find an opener, or hope to find an idea on where they might want to pivot towards. As the smoke starts to fade, Demo will be taken out. So first casualty to the side of paiN, and they'll start to pivot towards this B site where there's only Frozen, who now drops the smoke to buy a little bit of time as the rest of the cavalry come over.
Yeah, they have all that information in mid. Carrigan walking his way down. So this is no secret that paiN are going to be heading toward the B bomb site, and FaZe have everything they need to hold on to it. It's just going to have to be really a bit of a miracle round here from paiN. Got so many players that they need to pick up through the smoke, and Carrigan gets around behind them. I mean, that's just a mess of a round from paiN. They got stalled for so long that Carrigan walks up behind 3 and says, "Thank you very much, I'll take that."
They get in front of a bit of this utility down Banana. As I say that, NQZ, well, he's just getting all of it this way, and it'll even finish him off. So returning fire, a liege for a double, and that makes things quite the more awkward for paiN.
Oh dear, it is looking very awkward now for paiN. Very, very awkward indeed. That previous round, they just get kind of smoked by the mid-round rotation from FaZe, and this round, trying to contest Banana somewhat, and they get deleted. So this is where what has looked like a pretty close map up to this point may start to fall apart. Money getting not too low yet for paiN, but certainly in the territory where you'd be getting worried. And this should be a 10 for FaZe. Elige, though, will go down, but Frozen with the info, well prepared for that fight, and just going to back his way up into Arch.
Not bad on the timing for him to do so either. You don't want to give paiN another opportunity to bring a deficit position back into contention, just like that. But nevertheless, Carrigan starting to fire up, going positive.
As we've discussed, they have a pretty good conversion rate in Australia, but it feels like a long way away from FaZe making the final, let alone winning it. Though I seem to recall that might have been the case back in 2018 as well, which I think was their first win. Rain opening the account there onto Rix. The bomb plan is going down for paiN. Trouble is they're just losing players all over the place, and 3v5 for a post plan is going to be a tough one to deal with. Dancing around the dig pillar is Carrigan. Survives a little longer than he might have thought. I mean, this is a really messy round again. It's kind of chaotic, and maybe paiN are thriving in that chaos. Davidea's a bit of an off angle out from him here. Could he pick up one or two if FaZe start to filter their way on through? Snow's hit a headshot onto Rain, and Davidea's catches Elige. It looks like FaZe just didn't do anything. They didn't want to do anything. They were kind of waiting and waiting and waiting, and then paiN made their move, and ultimately they've won the round. I mean, that was quite strange from FaZe. I think they might have been waiting for some of those peaks from paiN, but just didn't win their duels. And
you know, Archer's been into Diggity, but he opted to go in towards apartments instead, and then it was just too little too late because he lost his teammates. Bit rough, but what's not rough is an opener if you're a FaZe fan. Brokey will finish off Davideus nice and early as we have an exchange of utility for the Banana control. Now it's on to paiN to try and dig deep here and try and recover this round from behind.
Yeah, same kind of scenario as what we had on Anubis, where FaZe were trying to close the game out on the T side, and the money was a bit of a concern for them. So they do need a couple of clean rounds here. Obviously, nice to get that start from Brokey, and he spotted the player in Boiler there as well. That first jiggle from Rix gave him away. He saw the leg or the knee or something, and so sets himself, gets the shot through nicely. And another perfect setup for a round for FaZe. This time they've got to ensure they do not drop a 3v5 again.
For sure. Checking through the smoke. Nobody home. 50 seconds to go still for paiN, but they walk into a potential crossfire as Carrigan. Good for one.
Yeah, I like this spot for Brokey as well. Going to be a tough one to clear if paiN were even to be able to get out of Boiler. And of course, as you can see there from Carrigan, nice 2k, unable to do it. So from a bit of a nothing retake from FaZe, we kind of find ourselves in a bit of a nothing round here from paiN. Like, just lost a couple of players early on in the round to Brokey's AWP, and then tried to walk out Boiler.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not showing a huge amount of ingenuity from paiN. The round was kind of over from the outset. With 18 seconds left on the clock here, Demo is going to, I guess, try and hang on to this AK, but he is in serious danger of dying after time if he doesn't go down now, because there is a wrap coming on through. Frozen having a bit of a look, and, well, he will catch up with him before the time ticks away. So maybe that's ultimately good news for paiN, but yeah, really quite a
little bit more utility this time for sure, but you weren't able to really find a single kill in the previous rounds. And with all of the control that FaZe are already seeing at Banana and not a real heavy investment of returning utility, they're quite convinced that they can go for the full control in a scenario like this. You see Elige a bit further down, you send Frozen away, because ultimately they should know that this is going to pivot towards the A site. Now it's going to be quicker for paiN.
Rain's going to get an incent down, though, on a very nice timing, which is just going to stall things up. There's a smoke as well to meet it, and he can play around that. There's a lot of space for the CTs right here, and they're able to do a pretty good job initially, but Demo and David flooding on through, do get themselves a couple of trade frags. Issue is C4 still needs to be retrieved, so that'll cost a bit of time. And FaZe can't afford to go for this retake. Even if they lose every single gun, they will be able to repurchase everything they could possibly want. So they do get 2 bites of the cherry for this 13-10. They're going to go for it. Elige leading that charge will get the headshot onto Demo. Davideus on the peak. Oh, it's a team kill from Brokey. He's shot Elige in the head. That's an awkward time to do it, but still a winnable round. FaZe need to lock in and push their way back in onto this. They've spotted out Davideus. They don't know exactly where NQZ is, and the round's fallen apart. Okay, game on. Maybe an OT.
Well, let's see what the openers do have in store for us. An AWP duel won by either side would be pretty good, you would assume, but Carrigan sneaking deep into mid. We haven't seen this just yet. What we have seen, though, is a mid duel lost.
That's nice by Frozen, though. Good refrag. Keeps a hold of the banana line. Waiting for any potential push out through that banana smoke. It's not going to happen. And what is the timing here that paiN are waiting for? Maybe it's that, with NQZ now going down, Brokey feeling comfortable, no one's moving on the A-bomb site. paiN are going to try and bust their way out of the balcony, and that's not going to happen. A waterfall is not going to be good enough to beat a team like FaZe, and that is 13-11 on map number 2 to join the 13-11 we had on map number 1.